Unravel the mysteries behind a perplexing case shrouded in unanswered questions and secrets.
He's driving me nuts. All right, guys, I marked it at 15 minutes. I'm done with this video. I appreciate you, sir. Less pauses, please. And yes, get out there and go search. What I do want to show you guys is I want to show you one more time Ronald Lopez's YouTube, because you guys could certainly go all do the same thing. What else do you have to do than to go call the 1-800-CALL-FBI and give them a tip, right? Yeah, Monk is great, but he hasn't had any new content. Okay, yeah, that's what I saw. And he was talking about another case. He was basically telling us how shitty law enforcement can be. And the reason that law enforcement can be shitty is for various reasons. Either they're not experienced, they don't care, someone pays them off, who knows? But this is the guy we're looking at right here. This is the guy that called in and has been being a weird wackadoodle, saying that he confesses to this and giving his coordinates. So of course people are going to look into him, and then you start looking at him, and rumor has it that he has a tattoo on his arm right there, which I'd love to see. If anyone has that, please email me, guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. All right, please stop, sir. Monk's been on vacation. Okay. All right, so that's what we're looking at there. And I just wanted to run over this with you real quickly. This article, I found it on X. I don't know who Channel 2 Now is. I'm assuming it's a local channel, but I kind of just wanted you to take a look at what's happening with this case, because when you ask me the question, well, Jay, how come they didn't talk about that 2 months ago? How come they didn't look at the construction site? Whatever, right? Right? This is why. Yeah, because they're wackadoodles too. That case he was talking about was sad. The 911 operator gave the wrong directions the opposite way. There's a video on YouTube about it. Well, I don't even know her name, so if you want to drop her name, that would be awesome, Michelle. Right. Let's take a look at this real quick. You guys are asking, what the F is wrong with this case? Why aren't they doing anything? Well, guys, they have done some things, but we know nothing about them. You remember they've had emergency search warrants by the FBI. All right. And these are some of the people that are involved in it, right? You can look at him and say, oh, he kind of looks like him too. This guy, I'd have to say no. They start, they're doing their due. But I just want to go through quickly. Investigators announced, and this is back in February, that Nancy Guthrie is presumed deceased based on the evidence gathered throughout the course of the investigation. Now, I want you guys to remember all the things that have happened thus far. According to law enforcement officials, this determination follows an extensive review of physical evidence, digital records, and investigative leads developed since Guthrie was reported missing. All right. If today were, a month ago, I could play this. Breaking news. Investigators believe burglary gone wrong. You remember the guy in the Range Rover? All right. That's that. I'm not going to play it because I just want you to remember that this whole case has been like that. Now, authorities have indicated that the totality of the circumstances, including the absence of any verified contact, communication, or financial activity, has led investigators to conclude that her disappearance is no longer being treated solely as a missing person, but as a suspected homicide investigation. I don't know where they saw that. Thank you. I'm glad you guys, we don't want to do drama. We don't want to bust anyone. We don't want to talk shit about anybody's channel or their livelihood. Okay, thank you. Amanda Nenagar. I hope I'm saying it right. Okay, let me not mess up here. So anyway, an individual in the inside source claimed that investigators believe the abduction had been stemmed from an intended burglary, and the DNA evidence recovered from the Range Rover, which was towed away. And that was Fridays ago, right? They're done with that. Don't forget, we've got gloves. Regarding physical evidence, gloves discovered approximately 2 miles from the Guthrie home, located in the field near the roadside, were collected and packaged by Pima County. So I just want to remind you of what's happened thus far. All right. Do we know anything about any of this stuff? We certainly don't. We certainly don't. I'm sure that one was ruled out, but I can't tell you anything about the other ones. Now, the items were shipped overnight. I want you to know they're looking at DNA February 12th, and they arrived at the private forensic lab in Florida on February 13th for analysis. Preliminary DNA results were received by FBI on February 14th, and officials are currently awaiting completion. Now, we know they have completion, and they put in the DNA into the CODIS, and there's no match. This person that did this, that left behind the DNA, is not a criminal in the system. Maybe a criminal, but doesn't have his DNA. So now they're going for genetic genealogy. I didn't even realize investigators reported that approximately 16 gloves were collected from various locations near the residence. Most were identified as belonging to a volunteer and had been discarded during search efforts. Sir or ma'am, please throw away your gloves in the trash can. Excuse me, please throw your gloves away in the trash can. Don't throw them on the ground. All right, what's your email? I have a pick and oh, that'd be awesome. My email is below. It's guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. It's scrolling by right now. There it is. Thank you, Kel. I appreciate that. All right. Please throw away your trash. Stop leaving it there. All right. Let's continue. The card was found. Now, here's the thing I wanted you guys to see too, because people keep saying, what about Adult Protective Services, Jay? They were there. No, they were there, but they only went there when they heard Nancy was missing and they put it at the door. Now, it could have been an Adult Protective Service person that just thought she wandered off and had to do the due diligence, because that's what you do. All right. So card was found, according to observations, has remained there for an extended period of time. According to many law enforcement experts and ex-FBI, they say that it was just something they needed to do. All right. FBI stated it will continue to provide investigative assistance in accordance, which we hope so. A significant law enforcement operation unfolded. Now, this wasn't last night. This was last month at 6280 North Placida de Rogel. I don't know how to say that. Relia in Tucson, Arizona, following what authorities described as a tip and investigative lead. According to public records, the individual believed to be the focus of this was Luke Anthony Daly. You guys remember him in that interview? We said his hand looked swollen. Also had prior criminal cases involving drug and weapons. Court records indicate multiple criminal filings. All right. So we also looked into that. Luke Daly, Kayla Daly, right? You remember all that? Matt Daly, 39 years old, is his brother. He was also detained during the operation, and reports suggested one brother was located at the residence while other was associated with the vehicle. All right. Authorities haven't confirmed any additional. Now we know they have. All right. And then we go back to Mary Daly, which is the mom that was detained, and said, my son didn't do it. My baby boy was playing video games at 2 a.m. What are you talking about? Excuse me, ma'am. How do you know he was up playing? That was your son-in-law. Were you watching him at 2 a.m.? All right. Just saying. All right. Teresa, you have to go back and replay. Well, good night, Deb, and everybody else that's leaving. We're not done just yet. All right. All right, so there's been quite an extensive amount of things that have happened in 61 days. We got the Range Rover. All right. Apparently it was sold. That Range Rover was 2 miles from Nancy's house. That's why they did that. It was towed, processed, etc. Vehicle records indicate the Range Rover had reportedly been sold on February 13th. The dealership connected the sale to the identified in public discussions, whatever. All right, nothing's come of that. They've got emergency search warrants. They brought him in, Range Rover, and then we got this guy. This is the guy. According to observers, a Range Rover was seized by FBI. We saw that, right? We looked at this guy. I do not think this guy at all whatsoever, but who knows? Additional questions have been raised about Zowden. I don't even know how to say that. Identified as an account who is alleged connections with affluent individuals in the Middle East, right? So I mean, we're just knocking them down, right? Earlier, Sheriff Chris Nanos mentioned the interviews that investigators were searching for a gray truck or SUV, and they identified or with a covered license plate. Now, they still haven't identified or even talked about that Kia. All right, now FBI raised the reward. Wow, big deal to 100,000.